Well, hello everybody, and I just thought I'd end the video that you've just seen regarding Mondi, my Mondeo, with a little bit of an update, because Mondi is 10 years old next year. He's covered 35,000 miles in the time I've had him. Now don't forget, I've got two other vehicles, so that's probably not a great deal for a car where most cars probably would have done 90,000, 60,000. So he's done 35,000 since new, and he's a 2016 car, yes, 65 plate, so in England. So, but I just thought I'd give you an update because I was looking around to see whether I would buy a new car or newer car. I don't buy him brand new. He was only less than 6 months old when I purchased him. So you get rid of all the tax stuff in the UK that we have to pay for new cars, costs and everything else. Anyway, so I went to my local Ford dealer, and I was looking at, because they don't make Mondeos anymore, or Fusion if you're in the States. So I went there, and of course they said, no, we don't make those anymore, even though they have been made up to the end of last year, 2024. So I looked at I was thinking, oh, okay, so the Cougar looks a nice car, nice and big, you know, quite nice. I've seen the new face on the Cougar, new updates, and the R-Line, which is what his equivalent will be, in fact his titanium extra specification, which comes with all the leather stuff and those bit, which I quite like. So I looked at that. Anyway, they had not got a car to show me. They said, oh, we haven't got one to show you. So I said, oh, but you're a car dealer, aren't you? Yeah, but we haven't got any in at the moment, the rest of it. So I said, okay, well, when I'm ready, I'll come back. So then my other thought was, well, there's the new Volkswagen Passat, which is now coming out as an estate car, and there's an R-Line with that as well. So the R-Line is not the sports version, but it's just the specification in terms of Volkswagen language, VW language. So I went along and looked, but they hadn't got any of those in either. And the lady there said, oh, I can't help you at the moment because it's the end of the month and we've got no one available. So I said, well, you're a car dealer, aren't you? I've seen them online. I want to look at these vehicles in the actual flesh, you know, in the metal. Anyway, she said, I'll get someone to phone you, which she never did. Nobody ever phoned me back, which I thought was, even though I gave her my number. So then I saw online Group 1, which is the Maidstone group of VW, a Arthon R, which is the ARTEON R specification, which was a very nice looking car in shooting brake, which is the one I quite like. So it's an estate version, loads of extra safety stuff with it, in pearl black, which is quite nice, though there are other colours available. So I then contacted the agent online. A young guy called Fred came back to me, lovely chap. I don't know what he looks like, but he sounded very nice, and we had a conversation over the telephone when I was sitting in the sunshine in the garden, and I arranged to have a test drive. And I said, I just want to do my due diligence. Could you send over the registration plate, please, or the index number as it's called, and also what the road fund license will be for this vehicle. I'm currently paying £220 for Mondi, so I assumed it would be the same. Anyway, I was in the gym and went to check my phone, looked at my phone, and whoa, did I have a shock. So these cars are £40,000 new, which is fair enough. There will be a discount because this one wasn't new. It was something about 35,000. They were offering online for me £8,000 off Mondi. So quite a sizable expenditure still, but then I keep cars 10 years, so fair's fair. I've got lots of extras on it, which I did myself. But then I looked at the road fund license for this car, 4 times as much as I'm paying now in the UK. So it was £620 a year. Wow, I was pedaling on the spin cycle class. I was thinking, this is totally off the scale. This is not anywhere near what I was expecting. And it is, well, it's just not feasible. When you think about, so you're going to spend more money buying the vehicle. Okay, you've got a discount off your car. You're going to spend more on extended warranty, because you would do that if you're sensible, just in case it breaks down after the first initial insurance has gone on it. Plus you've got all the extra servicing for a 2 litre. So for 500 cc's more, and all that extra, and the extra tax for somebody who is doing 35,000 on the original car, and I I do a lot of travel, but some of it's by train. It's just a no-brainer. So I just thought I'd share that with you, whether anybody else in the UK or anywhere else has had experiences on this. But it really is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not cost effective. So I'm going to keep Mondi another 5 years. But I don't tell you in the garage because I don't want to upset him, because he's been a loyal piece of metal for the last 9.5 years. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on this part of the video, and we'll get back to the main video now, so take care. So, welcome back to part 3 of the Portagram 9 stereo, Mark 9 stereo, and I've got some updates for you. But before then, I thought I would just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to all the people who commented on the last one and gave me some really good insight into this deck. Particularly Stuart Ellis, to say thank you, Stuart, very much. That was really helpful, telling me your story about your parents having this particular type of deck, and about the transfer screws and all the rest of it, which are in here, which I've still got to do. I'm going to experiment with that and see. So thank you very much. Also, thank you for Neil for your comments as well, and your kind thoughts. It's very kind of you. To say things, so I really do appreciate it. We've had 156 views on this particular update so far, not this one we're talking to you on, but the episode 2, I'm trying to say. So thank you very much for that. It's really nice, and I've got some records in my head lined up to play at the end to demonstrate this machine on that basis as well. We'll do that. Also, thank you to Pat O'Reilly for the comments about her father or grandfather, and a relative or cousin, who I played a record from a while ago. Thank you. That was really helpful. And then she came back, or he came back with some more information, which was really nice. So the YouTube community can be really, really good. Excellent. And I know other YouTubers like myself do express thanks to our audience, and it's the audience which is most important. It's what I put up that people like. I know people tend to like this type of stuff, rather than the stuff on the camper van and maybe some of the other things, but it doesn't matter. Even if 4 people only like my video, that's enough to give me a nice warm feeling that I'm enjoying what I do, because I enjoy doing the content. I enjoy all the editing and that, and which does take a while, but that's part of the course. It's just part of life, really. And I've done this for the last decade and a bit. So if you're one of those viewers who have watched me from the day one I uploaded El Boli singing one of his songs on my Dichato in the house, let me know, because that video was the very first spark that set me on the journey of repairs and everything else. So it'd be quite nice. Anyway, let's get back to the main video here. So I have now cleaned up all of these little knobs that go on the front down here. I'll just see you in shot. There we go. So I'm going to put those back on again. Loads of mucky stuff came off. I have to say, they're quite damaged. In fact, been bashed about a bit. I've never seen that before. This machine obviously been well used and loved. So we'll put those back on again. And they've got a little marker to do that. And then I'm going to also put a new stylus on here, because this is the one, where are we? There we go. Make sure this is the one that's already on there, and then I've got a new one in here. There we go. There we are. It came the other day, all of £7. So I'm going to do that. It's interesting enough that this is a this one ST1617. So obviously they combine the two now. This has been this head shell's really been well soldered in there and nicely looked after. That's quite nice. It's got a ceramic cartridge. This cartridge I've used on the machine, so it's not, it could be, I don't know, 10 years old maybe, but I've had these. I used to buy these from Maplin's actually to put into my other machines I used to repair and sell. Quite a good output on, well, it is a good output on that, as you heard. So I'm going to do that this afternoon as well. So yes, so let's get on and do some work. Come back to you. So let's put this new one in. I've taken the old one out, so let's just pop that in there, like so. There we go. That was very easy, I have to say. Okay, so that is 78, and that is LP. So the 78 is there. So that's 78, that side. There we go. You can see, I don't know what you can see on camera, but that's definitely a larger stylus, 3mm that would be, where the original one was just a, it was just, I think it said on there, it was just LPs on one side, yeah, and singles on the other side. So I'll keep that one as a spare, and what I'll do is label that to say when I changed it and where it came off. So just keep it in its box. So that's that bit done, and then we'll test this out. Yeah, you can see it was a larger one. Test this out when we get round to that. So I'll do that. That's fine. So I'll put that pot away, and then we'll put these back on again. Now what I'll do, I'll put you on the other tripod so you can see that better. Just thought I'd say this afternoon the temperature in the UK here is, what's it saying? Internally it's saying 17 degrees, which is really warm. The sun is really nice, and it's been like this for a few days, but we've had a cold wind as well, so what might seem like a nice warm day, you still need to wear a jumper on like I've got on today. So I'll put the first one on. One thing about these you have to look out for is there's a little screw in there. I don't know if you can see that, and sometimes you can get, these will drop out if you're very unlucky. So this one here, so what you have to do is a flat part, this one had the same, there's a flat part inside on the actual what's that piece called? On the actual knob itself, on the actual pentometer itself, and then what you have to do is line this up. You can line this up, and then this just literally just tighten it, which I don't think that one likes that very much. Let me just try that a bit better. I think I might have tightened it. I was worried not to lose it down this drain when I was cleaning it. So that part that's got the container there.
Some considerable time later.
Hopefully. No, that doesn't like that at all. So I'll try this one on one of the others. Let's try one of the other ones then. That doesn't like that particular one. As I say, I'm sure somebody's been here before me. If I do it live on camera. Top there, I can see a mark where the screw was before. As I say, these aren't the original knobs that have been put on. I think they've been, obviously they've had some problems, and then what they've done is, this is the balance side of things, so better now. Yes. Except that's too far around, probably. Let me just... Normally there's a flat piece. There, so... Yes, that's about right. That's okay. Okay, so that one didn't like that. So let's try this one. What I've done is I've put them so that they turn completely to the right. So that I've got, what happens is when you get to that part, there we go, you can then just that should be base. Yes. Yes, that's okay. So therefore the base, I had it set about 2. Interestingly, when somebody's actually been in here and fiddled around, this is the treble. So again, treble at 5. There we go. Yes, that's fine. And then the last one, which is volume, which is quite important. Let's make sure that's on the right place. It doesn't really matter which knob goes back on what. That one has got a flat area on it. So hopefully okay, so we need to do that so that it's okay, so it needs to go around a bit further than that then. That's interesting. Okay, so it needs to go around a bit further. So it's back this way more. You can see that or not. So it needs to go around a bit further. Yes, that's 0, that's full. There we go, that's okay. So slight adjustment occasionally, but on the whole that's about right on that pass. Okay, so let's put the knobs back. I gave this front a clean. I think I might do that again actually, just to make sure that that's looking okay. So I'll do that and I'll come back. So I've cleaned all the front up now. I've used some of this extreme bike cleaner stuff, which is quite good. It's sort of biodegradable, and I've also turned these springs round the other way, so you've got more of a spring there. It raises it about, I don't know how much does it raise it by. Let's just do a little measurement here, centimeters. Yeah, I suppose it's raised it by about 2 centimeters. Yeah, 2 centimeters, or in English old money, yeah, about just 3/4 inches there. So I'll see what that's like. I mean, to get the pieces underneath, which I'd have to then use, I've got these washers, you probably can't see there, they'll go underneath. They just happen to fit, they're blanks. And then I've got the screws, which are these little things here. You might not be able to see that very well on camera. Where are we? There we go, there we are. You probably can't see that very well, but there we go. And then that would secure it. I noticed also, you probably can't see it, let me just raise the camera, but you probably can't see, but there's a hole here and a hole here, identical. And my thoughts are this will be where the transport screws would go to batten these down. That's my thoughts, but I know Stuart very kindly provided me with some information about these springs will be turned up the other way and then screwed when moving. This machine obviously is meant for sort of dance halls and other places. That's why the turntable has that locking screw that I showed you earlier. So yeah, we'll see what that's like on that basis, but we're getting there. I need to do the side pieces, clean these off as well, so I'll do that, and then we'll do a final put together and a final test, as it were. I think we're almost there. I think everything seems to be in place. I'll do another test anyway. Be back soon.
I'm now going to show you how to set the downward pressure and the anti-skate and the tracking for the deck.
So there we are, 3.5 on there. I think we'll go for that. Let's see what that sounds like anyway. And then the anti-skate, we would have to do the same. So it'd be about 3.5 there. So let's see what that. So the next thing to do is the protractor. Now, I've done this before. You may have seen this on my channel before, but I get this protractor out here, this one. And what you do is you put that on the center there, and then you line this up. Now this would be quite difficult doing this on Let me just put it down to play, and then I just have to make sure that it's sliding all over the place. What I need to do is just keep something there to keep it there so I can demonstrate this. That looks okay to me. So what happens is this, that you need to have the stylus and the tone arm going parallel across the record, the whole record. So in other words, if I show that to you, if you're going to demonstrate particularly well, I'm sorry about this, but basically, because this deck keeps moving, you want it so it's straight here. In other words, on here, this line here is level with the front of the stylus here, and then it needs to track across the record in the same way. So the second place you put it is here, and then line up all the lines there, and I'll do that off camera and just double check with you. Hang on a second.
I hope that was explained enough for you. Some of the video I somehow didn't record to the camera, so I've had to use this explanation. But thank you for watching episode 3, and I'll see you on episode 4. Take care for now. All the best. Bye for now.